Morning, everyone. Welcome to day 23, I think. And this morning it is really cold and there is tons of condensation everywhere. We were lucky that yesterday when it rained, it came through like a thunderstorm. It rained heavy for a little while. After about 45 minutes, it was gone. Everything cleared up, the sun came out, and it didn't rain through the night. You'd never know that from the amount of moisture in my tent. My tent was soaked on the outside and also on the inside. Tons of condensation. I already took my microfiber towel and cleaned it out. Wiped down the inside once, wrung it out. Several cups of water came out. Did the same with the outside, and there's still more moisture on the tent. I have to continue to do it. So that's what we're working on now. The goal for today is to get up and over Glen Pass. I have a little bit of fear of Glen Pass. I'm trying to think positive and, I'll get through it. I'll figure it out. And, I'll let you know how I do. All right, we're heading to Glen Pass, which is up there somewhere. Wish me confidence. So far, so good. There are definitely some areas that are close to the edge that make me a little nervous, but nothing that I haven't been able to handle so far. We'll see what's up ahead. Snack break. Yay! I hate when the trail is made up of all these loose rocks that shift underfoot. They're really hard to walk on, especially when you're switchbacking up a mountain like this. As the climb increased in elevation, steepness, and exposure, I could feel my fear and my panic beginning to bubble to the surface. We got this. It's just triggering all my panic. But I'm doing it. Here comes the scramble to the top. We'll have scrambles on the scrambles. We're at the top of Glen Pass. I'm still a little shaky, But I made it. I did it.
We made it.
We made it. I have to get across the rest of this ridge, and then we got to see about getting down. But we made it to the top. The top of Glen Pass includes a ridge walk that drops off not just on one side, but on both sides, the anticipation of which did not help my fear of heights. This is awesome. It's so worth it.
11,957.
11,957. This is so worth all the panic and the fear. And I'm proud of myself. This is the hardest thing so far. All right. Coming down the other side of Glen Pass now. Feeling accomplished. Definitely scary for me. Glad that I did it. And now, it's just so beautiful. Look at this. So that was the ridge line we came across behind us.
Whatever you do,
This is lovely.
don't hang on to this, it's loose.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My goodness, this will be fun.
I had to step over, there's a step on the other side of that big rock. And hug that rock, yep.
Hold it. Come around it, I think.
Yep, that's what I did. There's a step right there. And then the ledge is fine. Just not the loose rocks above it. It's all right. You're okay.
They're all moving on me.
Yep.
I hate about this stuff.
Yep.
This was definitely a rock slide.
Yes, for sure. Rock slide over the trail.
All right, so suddenly these narrow switchbacks that drop off on one side don't seem so bad. So we made the decision to go to Kearsarge Lakes instead of Charlotte Lake. We were debating between the two. And the main reason is that Kearsarge Lakes is in the direction we need to go for a resupply anyway, and Charlotte Lake is in the opposite direction. So we're heading toward Kearsarge Lakes. Beautiful blue sky. But when you look behind us, that's what's chasing us. And I just heard the first rumble of thunder. So we're hoping we can stay ahead of it and get to camp and get our tent set up before the rain descends. We still have about a mile and a half, I think. All right, we made it to Kearsarge Lake, got the tent set up, and the storm that chased us all the way here if we're lucky, seems to be sort of scooting around us and breaking up. And we might actually miss the rain today, I hope. So, the sun is out. Charging my device. We see him. Wow, that's a coyote. Yeah.
Is there more than one? I know, but they're not, you can't open the bear.
All right, we had our dinner, but now the thunder's back. So we're gonna climb in our tents and hunker down and see what happens. Good morning. Welcome to day 25 and our 0 day. We are taking a 0 day here at Kearsarge Lakes. We're gonna relax, we're gonna swim, we're gonna let some of our stuff dry out, we're gonna wash stuff. We need this, we need a 0 day. And at the moment, it's nice and sunny. All right, we're heading out on a little walk to see what the other lakes look like. These 3 lakes are beautiful. It's a great place to take a 0. And now we're going to decide where to swim. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Oh my God, it's cold!
That's the initial.
Colder as you get deeper.
It's the initial. Invigorating.
So it's really refreshing to go for a dip in one of these alpine lakes, but it is so cold. And you really have to time your dip to when the sun comes out between the clouds, because when the sun is not shining, it's freezing. Here comes the sunshine.
We're getting warm again. The sun's out.
So we are calling our 0 day Christmas. First of all, it's the 25th day that we've been hiking. And another thing that happened was that Plum realized that she was short a meal or two, and the family that is tenting just up the hill from us has to leave early and had all this extra food and gave her the extra meals that she needs to get us to the next resupply. So it was like Christmas. And the third thing is, when we did all our laundry this morning, we hung the things to dry on one of the pine trees, and they looked like Christmas ornaments, like we had decorated the tree for Christmas. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. Good morning. And I use that term loosely. It's not a very good morning. It started raining around 7:30 last night. Rained steadily, nice and hard all through the night. It didn't stop at all. It's getting lighter now, but I didn't sleep at all. I've got bags under my eyes. Somehow the rain got into my tent, and there's a big puddle in the middle of my tent, and my backpack is soaked on one side, and the rest of my stuff is all fairly damp. We're supposed to start over Kearsarge Pass today, get on the other side, because tomorrow the shuttle is picking us up at Onion Valley for our resupply. So I gotta shake all this off and get going, figure out how to proceed. What I really want to do is just throw the quilt over my head and try to go back to sleep. Time to get moving. All right, so it looks like we got enough of a break in the rain to pack up. We're gonna head up and over Kearsarge Pass. Right up there, that's Kearsarge Pass.
How are you guys?
We're doing okay,
Well,
considering we're going uphill.
right. We appreciate you guys stepping off.
All right, so Kearsarge Pass isn't actually on the John Muir Trail. It's, I think, about 7 miles total to go up and over the pass down to the other side once you leave the John Muir Trail. So these are extra miles. But we need our resupply on the other side of this pass. So that's why we're going over Kearsarge Pass. Alright, so we're at the top of Kearsarge Pass. It's miserable up here. It's rainy. It's windy.
Heavy fog.
Yeah, you can't see anything. You can see just barely behind me. Can't see anything at all going down. It's miserable up here, and we're gonna head down the other side. When we started this morning from our tent site, you could just barely see the pass, and within a matter of minutes of climbing, the cloud had rolled in and completely obscured the pass. So we just kept climbing toward it. It was much like the day that we went up Pinchot Pass and the entire thing was in a cloud. The difference today is that as we were on our way up, it started getting misty, and it was also quite windy on the side of the pass that we were climbing, and we were beginning to get a little bit wet and chilled from the wind, and that's the perfect conditions for hypothermia. So we stopped on one of those drop-off switchbacks and got out our rain gear and put it on so that we wouldn't get wet and chilled and end up with hypothermia. It's not as windy on this side of the pass, which is better. We're on the downhill side now, but it still is a little bit misty. This trail is really pretty, and I would definitely be taking more video if I wasn't cold and wet and trying to keep my hands underneath. But I love the way this trail goes back and forth between the rocks. Very, very cool. Here's the trail, and there's the trail over there. But this is all washout. This all came down from the storm and created these huge washouts that just go across the trail. This is not normal rain stuff. Up and over, all this stuff slid down during the rain. And here's the trail on the other side. So this is Gilbert Lake. It's where we were considering camping today, but we're going to press on all the way down to the trailhead and see if we can get into town for a resupply a day early. I don't think we've had a section quite like this before. Goes through the middle of a boulder field. It's interesting. So basically the rock slide has obliterated the trail and the switchbacks, and we're just sort of picking our way down, trying to get back. Like there's a piece of the trail there, but this all just came down the mountain and covered everything over. And it's wide, like it's really wide. I'd say a couple 100 feet wide,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, at least.
And came down the mountain quite a long way. So, over multiple switchbacks.
Up through the trees.
Yeah, uprooted a tree. I'd say probably about a dozen switchbacks just covered over completely. Makes it a little difficult to follow the trail. But just to think about, that happening from a safety perspective. Getting over the pass and pushing all the way down to the trailhead a day ahead of time was no big deal. Look, it's cars. It's a trailhead. Let's go investigate, shall we? Let's go. The problem is that our shuttle was scheduled for the next day, and there was no cell phone service at the trailhead. Luckily for us, a family that had tented nearby the night before arrived at the trailhead shortly after we did, and they very generously offered to give us a ride down into town, for which we were extremely grateful. All right, update. We decided to keep walking past our planned camping spot and walk all the way down into the Onion Valley trailhead, in the hope of coming down into Independence a day early for a resupply. The bad news is that the place where we were going to stay tomorrow doesn't have any vacancy tonight. The good news is we found another motel that did. So now we are in search of food, priority number one. Only in a hiker town is there a shower here at the food shop. All right, so while we're waiting for the restaurant to open for dinner, we decided to have dessert first. Oh my God. We just walked through a sprinkler by mistake, and we both went, ah! And it started to rain again. We're so shell-shocked from the rain. Oh my God, that's hysterical. Alright, so we switched over to the Mount Williamson Motel and Base Camp, which is where we were scheduled to stay tonight. And I can't say enough nice things about this place, and it's so cute. There are all these individual little cabins. And you got the view of the mountains right there in the background. And there's a nice little seating area here under the trees. And they have some suites. And they are just so nice here. I can't say enough good things about the people who run this place. One of our reasons for coming down into Independence a day early was to try to dry some of our stuff out from the rain. But another reason was to try and get some information. A lot of the rain that we were seeing was not typical for the Sierra. Storms that lasted for hours and hours and all through the night. We were getting much more rain than what people were saying was typical. Everyone we talked to said this is not a normal weather pattern. And we had been in this for 9 days. We saw 3 different rock slides. One of them actually happened while we were there, right on the other side of Lake Marjorie. The other 2, we saw the after effects, and we had to climb over the rock slides. So we saw a lot of deteriorating trail conditions. So we had some concerns, and we wanted to get some more information about trail conditions and the upcoming weather. We were both very committed to finishing the trail. We both wanted to do the whole thing and have that, final moment standing at the top of Mount Whitney after having completed the whole trail. But we wanted to do it smart. We didn't want our drive to finish the trail to get in the way of common sense and safety. So we came down to get some more information as well. In addition to our resupply, we wanted to spend some time talking to people, finding out what the trail conditions were from people coming the other direction who had already been the way that we're going to be going, getting weather reports, things like that. So we had a decision to make. If it wasn't going to be safe for us, then this would be the end of the line. But if we got good reports, then we'd take our resupply and go back out. As it turned out, most of the people that we talked to and most of the news that we listened to had some good things. There is still some rain in the forecast, but it's more sporadic and on and off. We're going to have some sunny days. We'll probably have some days where it's going to rain. Most of the people we talked to who had come from the other direction, they all said that the trail conditions were okay. So we've decided to press on. So tomorrow morning we'll be hitting the trail and doing the final miles that we have to do to finish. All right, all ready for breakfast this morning, and then we head back to the trail.